All right. Welcome, POL listeners. We are honored to be joined by Raleigh Duffer here today, the Salem RidgeYaks, the artist formerly known as the Salem Red Sox ticket sales director. Raleigh, thanks for joining us. For our listeners, Fitz is running a few minutes behind. That's the POL difference. But Raleigh, we're psyched to have you. I know you guys just rolled out a huge rebrand, so we're excited to kind of break that down with you. Just for our listeners, to take it from the top, what sort of kicked off this process and sort of what inspired you guys to roll with the RidgeYaks after, I don't know, probably a decade plus of being the Salem Red
16
Sox?
years. They were those 16 years, the Salem Red Sox.
There you go.
Looked.
Yep. We rebranded from the Avalanche to the Salem Red Sox in 2009 when we changed affiliations from the Rockies to the Red Sox. So it just obviously kind of fit, and we still love the Red Sox, right? We're still part of the Red Sox organization. We're gonna support that affiliation because why wouldn't you? But we also wanted to have our own unique identity. We wanted to be local to the community and have something that ties back that we can really just be excited about and go to the people in our community to say, hey, while we're still the Red Sox, we're also the RidgeYaks, and we feel that we have created something really exciting that we can get the future generations excited about and just create fans for life.
Awesome. Well, I like that you mentioned you guys want to be part of the community because, I mean, myself, like I grew up in Maryland, which it's still like 3 hours plus to Salem, Virginia from me. But I was always curious, like, I mean, Salem, Virginia, it's so far from Boston. Like, why would they still roll with the Red Sox name? I mean, I appreciate it at the time because obviously Worcester, they still go by the Red Sox, but they're only 30 minutes away. They're only 30 minutes outside the city. So I guess to really dive into it, were there other options you guys had in mind or feedback you got that may have led you down a different road as opposed to the RidgeYaks? Sort of what really, got you guys set on that name and that branding? I mean, the main logo is sick. I love the guy with the horn. The baseball on the horn is awesome. So yeah, what sort of other options were you guys looking at, and what set you down that road?
For sure, we definitely had other options on the table, and to be completely transparent about it, we were late to the game here. You guys are probably familiar with that. There's a lot of teams that just no longer carry their parent club name, and they've rebranded to these really cute, cool, unique names that are just fun, right? Like the Rome Emperors, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, like
Yep.
just brands that stick out and are now great, and they're top performing minor league baseball teams. And why wouldn't you want to be that? So this process started probably close to 2 years ago, if I had to say.
Okay.
Our general manager, Alan Lawrence, and assistant general manager, big thank you to them. They carried a lot of this lift throughout the starting foundation of it. Kind of went to our ownership group, Diamond Baseball Holdings, and with the idea, and they were like, heck yeah, why not? So a lot of support from them too. So big credit there. And then we just started getting involved with other agencies that kind of had been through the process and know a little bit about it. But also on top of that, we reached out to the community. We had polls, we had surveys and things going to the people to get their input as well, and just combine that all together. And once we kind of looked at the data there, we just had a lot of redundancy between the Blue Ridge Mountains and the recreational around the area, between hiking, kayaking, biking. There's a lot of things to do outdoors here. So we saw that and just took advantage of it. And how do you create a personality and a brand around that? So that's kind of where the Ridge came from. And then the Yak is in the cattle family. We have a lot of blue collar workers here, Southwest Virginia. It's very rural. My dad's even a cow farmer. I grew up 2 hours from here, so I love it. And just again, the Yak is a resilience, strength, and kind of represents the area. Plus, it's like you guys said, a really cool logo and something to build around.
I'm back, by the way. I came in. Sorry, I'm late.
Thanks
everyone.
for joining us, Fitz.
Riley, I was wondering if you could just restart the entire conversation from scratch. We'll do the whole 4 minutes that we just talked about again. But hello, by the way. I was Fitz. I was the person you were emailing with. But it's glad to have you on the show. I was listening from a different realm before getting on to the podcast here. And awesome. I did hear you talking about, how the higher ups within the organization really got the ball rolling with this. When did this process of the rebrand actually start? Just to give people a timeline of
he just said that, idiot.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Okay. Sorry.
2 years.
Well, no,
2 years.
Started around 2 years.
Well,
yeah,
nearly
2 years ago when we went to our ownership group and said, hey, how do we make this happen? And they're big on just how do we do it and not so much we can't or the reasons why, which is awesome.
Fair enough. And good on the boys for getting that question in there. Jake, since you're so smart, why don't you ask the question?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I will ask a question. I wanted to kind of pick your brain. So when you go about redesigning, there's these, I'm sure that you spoke to multiple like design firms that actually handled like the fine details of the logo and stuff. How many iterations did you get before settling on like, this is our guy, this is the yak?
Yeah, so again, Blair and Alan, our general manager and assistant general manager, did a lot of that lift. They kind of looped the staff in on the process towards the end of it, but I really couldn't even imagine. I know they kind of had a lot of it. Obviously, it came down to a final few options. And then from there, once we finally picked the yak, it was a lot of just fine tuning. So if you really look into the logo, the hairline of the yak is the Blue Ridge Mountains. On the main logo.
I'm looking at it right now. I didn't even catch that detail.
I didn't notice that because
awesome.
There's the logo that's just the Blue Ridge Mountains as well.
Right. Yeah. So we have quite a few logos. The primary one is, I believe, the actual yak and the kayak. So again, just play on words there. Yak and a kayak. It's cool. It's fun. It's fun to say. Yak also stands for home run. I'm sure you guys knew that. Plus the kayaking playing into the Blue Ridge outdoor recreation. But also within that main logo, the hairline, Blue Ridge Mountains, the front of the kayak also resembles a mountain, which is pretty cool. The oar or the paddle, as you will say, is supposed to be half baseball bat, half paddle to kind of just blend that in together. Then it has the baseball and the horn. And then some of our other logos that just really tie back into the community is if you look at the, I think it's the word mark logo, the RY, it actually has blazes within the words, like the trail blazes from the Appalachian Trail and the trail markers to follow. So there's a lot of really cool details within the logo that, people don't know about unless we tell the story behind it or they read the press releases or whatever. And that's what we find so cool about it. We want to be able to tell a story. We want to have something behind it that's not just so obvious.
That is because the details are very subtle, I will say. Like, the Blue Ridge Mountains up on the top of the yak itself. And not for nothing, you look across the scope of sports branding. There are times, and Jake as a connoisseur of Johns himself, of uniforms and whatnot, there is a point where some teams can overdo it a little bit with like too much symbolism and whatnot. Like, oh, this represents some very obscure fact about the organization. But this Salem RidgeYaks design, I do think genuinely does a good job of towing that line where it's subtle enough, but it's still, like you had mentioned, tells that story. What's it like to try to toe that line, to not be so heavy-handed with, the symbolism and trying to tie the community story into the branding itself, but also, still being sharp overall as a brand identity?
For sure. And we definitely consider that going into this process. That's why we have so many actual alternate logos outside of those main primary ones that are a little bit different and fun. We have the natural seal patch that just has the state logo and then the Roanoke star in it. So I don't know if you guys are real familiar with the area, but Roanoke is known for their star. It's literally a big light up star on the mountain. It's pretty cool. It's very pretty to go visit at night when you drive by it. But we tied that into it for more just traditional logo. Kind of looks like a patch or a seal, and kind of like the city seal that we have in Salem. So we kind of towed the line by having a mixture of those really cool, unique ones, and then also the more traditional logos, like the word mark and that seal.
Which I am trying to pull up on a screen share right now, by the way, just so folks know what we're talking about if they're watching on YouTube.
Raleigh, question for you I had. In terms of your role in this whole process as the director of ticket sales, when you guys were getting feedback from fans or the community, et cetera, were you doing outreach with, say, like season ticket holders or corporate partners to say, hey, this is what we're thinking? Like, what sort of was your role in getting feedback or reaching out to the community in terms of, do you guys like this? Does this fit the community? And was it really a fit for Salem to begin with?
Yeah, for sure. And we had to be very strategic about it, I guess would be the word to say. You never want to just go out there and just say like, hey, what do you
This is
think
what
it
we
should
are
be
now.
named? Yeah, right. So we did it just by a lot of social media posts. We did a lot of rep outreach. So like you said, I was reaching out to my season ticket members with those surveys and, those questions just to tee us up on, what direction do we want to take this. But we also had town hall meetings and things to bring those season ticket members and corporate clients into a setting where we're face to face and, hey, let it all out. If we're going to do this, what do you think it should be? What do you think represents us the most? And we did that probably a little over a year ago now, I think. And so that played a lot into it. And again, it went back to just the redundancy of the Blue Ridge Mountains and what we have to offer here with the, we almost make it a tourist destination based off just the mountains, right? Between the biking and the hiking and the kayak that I mentioned earlier, we have Floatzilla days on the river here. So we really, we took that and just built a brand around it that we're really proud of.
No, Riley, you mentioned earlier, as I had just kind of come in, this is part of a trend across Major League Baseball, kind of abandoning, for lack of a better term, dropping the parent organization's title within the team name, going from Red Sox to RidgeYaks and going with something a little bit more fun, a little bit more community centered that has to do specifically within the city and the town that the minor league affiliate is in. Do you think there's something specific about minor league baseball as a whole that lends itself to that freedom, to that ability for teams to be able to make those changes and for fans to then embrace it?
For sure, right? I think, I love baseball. I'm a traditional baseball fan. I grew up a Boston Red Sox fan. I'm sure you guys love to hear that. My dad's been a fan for all my life. I actually got memorabilia trash cans of the 2007 World Series roster. So I've been a Red Sox fan all my life, but also the cool thing about minor league baseball is we're fun, right? We can be that unique organization. We can take somebody down onto the field just because we wanted to. We don't have all those policies and regulations to go through as much as Major League Baseball does. So it's a lot easier to build those memories and make unique experiences. And why not have a great name to go with that?
Absolutely. And to kind of build off of that, part of why minor league baseball, to me, even this day, and we have the Woo Sox out in Worcester. It's not like Worcester is this little small town. It's the heart of the Commonwealth, second biggest city in the state, but it still provides an avenue for folks to get access to the professional level of the game without having to shell out, major league dollars, having to go all the way into the city to see a game. And the RidgeYaks can continue to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And, on top of fun, like you said, affordability, we can bring people out. I think we have tickets starting at roughly $12. So to come see a professional baseball game, and then to just add on top of that experience, between the things we can bring in, like at our rebrand launch party, we had partners out we had a kayaking lesson basically where people could get into like a 20 by 10 pool full of water and just practice and learn how to paddle a kayak. We had an archery range with like foam targets and foam arrows set up. So there's a lot of unique things that we can do. And we also tie into multiple sports, similar to like the Augusta Green Jackets tying into, the Augusta National. But we actually can do more with that because it's just, the outdoor aspect of it. We can get those bow shops to come out and do an archery range and so forth.
No, I got to ask you, Riley.
Or Liam, you go first.
Sure. Now, my question for you was sort of, you mentioned you grew up a Red Sox fan. Was there any part of you that felt a bit of like hesitation towards getting rid of the Red Sox name there?
I'm not going to say hesitation. Because I've also dealt with the back end of people thinking we're the Boston Red Sox. People also think since we're named the Red Sox in Salem, we're in Salem, Massachusetts. So as far as my job goes, I'm really looking forward to being able to differentiate ourselves from those people and, again, have our own identity.
Do you,
Jake, you were saying something, you were muted.
Yeah, I realize that. Raleigh, I wanted to ask you, from your end, the ticketing side of things, have you seen like a marketed uh, increase of interest in the team like since the rebrand, like compared to this time last year, maybe? Because I know for me, like when I was in maybe I was a sophomore in high school. I'm from Connecticut. The Hartford Yard Goats rebranded, and they barely moved. They moved like 2 towns over, but they got the new name with the new branding and everything, and it was like a huge deal. Just the fact that they got this new name and tickets, it became like a hot thing. Have you seen that? I mean, I know it's November, so that's kind of a hard. In hindsight, that's you won't really know that until next year. But like, do you sense people are talking about it a little more even?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you think about it from a corporate client perspective, like we're now the hottest topic in Salem right now. Why wouldn't you want to be, a part of us? And it's really cool. We're having, people that we necessarily haven't even partnered with are starting to do like launch parties, or one of the local breweries had a Muggsy as our old mascot. They had like a Muggsy memoriam type of deal Saturday. And Muggsy didn't die. He's not going anywhere. We're working on a friendship between him and Mac the Yak, our new mascot, which I can talk about here in a few.
That was going to be my next question.
Yep.
I was going to ask if my two lovely co-hosts were doing their job before I had actually jumped on. I would hope that they would ask about the mascot, who is named Mac the Yak. Tell us about Mac. Tell us about our newest friend, Mac the Yak. What's his whole deal? What's his story? Why is his name Mac?
So Mac is named after McAfee's Knob, which is the most photographed hike or summit on the Appalachian Trail. So another one of those community factors that we really just tied into, and it was really cool.
I just
a couple
Googled a
weeks.
picture of it. That's crazy.
It's awesome. My girlfriend and I hiked it a couple months ago, and she made me take a picture right off the ledge, and I was a little scared.
That's awesome.
But yeah, in 2 weeks or so, or a little bit before we kind of made the announcement, even to the staff, we did a staff hike up to McAfee's Knob, kind of tying into that. So it was really just, again, going back to that community base and that community feel, the things that we can do with it and what we brought into it has been really awesome to see, and really made me come back in a touch of why I love minor league baseball and do what I do.
Yeah, and a connection to the community, like we've mentioned here. Just for the folks watching on YouTube, youtube.com/@Pot on Lansdowne, there is Mac the Yak right there. You said you were scared of the actual McAfee Knob rally. I'm scared of Mac. I think he's going to fight me, and he's going to win. He's big and strong, and you know what? He's my friend.
Exactly. Yep, that's what we want.
Shout out,
So
Mac.
you think him and Muggsy, they're going to hit it off? You plan on them being friends? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
beautiful.
For sure. Now going back to that event at that local brewery, we had both mascots there. We had families taking pictures with them both, and just, again, we're creating talk about a minor league baseball team in November, and that is so hard to do.
And I think that's a great way. The Woo Sox do that too sometimes. They'll bring out Paws, who was the Pawtucket Red Sox mascot. And I think it's a good way of, like, that's the past. Like, we're not going to be that team anymore, or have that name anymore. But, like, here's this little living, I guess, piece of
Right.
it, that can still show up and, like, honor that old era. So I think that's great that you're keeping Muggsy around.
For sure.
Now, I got to ask, the talk internally at RidgeYaks HQ about the uniforms through the rebrand, did those conversations get heated? Because people can get very, spirited and excited and, combative even when it comes to on-field jaunts. I need to hear what that process was like.
No, I mean, again, a credit
No
to
fist
Blair and
fights?
Allen here. For one, we have a great staff. We probably have I've been there with the Salem Red Sox from 2021 to 2025, and now the RidgeYaks, so a little over 4 years now. And we have a phenomenal staff, and we see the bigger picture and get it. So there's not really too much argumentative there. And everybody just really bought into it. When they showed us the jerseys and showed us the team name, everybody was like, "This is awesome." You know, there was no like second guessing or anything. Everybody bought into it, and you can really tell because when we answer the phones, everybody's really excited to say Salem RidgeYaks, and there really hasn't been any mistakes by saying the Salem Red Sox, which has been just incredible to see. I think I've probably been the only one, and I've been there the longest.
I got the navy blue and the white are both sharp. That blue with the yak with the or coming underneath, like to underscore the yaks there. That's a nice touch. I do like that.
I love that shade of blue, you guys. Not the navy, but I don't know what kind of blue you would call that. Like
electric blue is what
electric
it's called.
blue. All right,
Officially electric blue.
Mwah, gorgeous.
Pantone number something. I don't know what Pantone number. Trying to find a good picture of the hats here too. This is a little blurry, but you can kind of make it out. You've got the YR, you've got the outline of the state of Virginia with the yak going through in the middle, and then the navy blue one is Mac the yak there front and center.
Yeah. And we're located in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so just playing into that too, right? How many blues can we kind of throw together and make it look good?
There you go. Yeah, each part of it has a little bit of a story, a meaning to it. So that's cool stuff there. Shout out to the RidgeYaks. Fellas, any other questions that you have in regards to our pals over at the RidgeYaks?
I was going to ask Riley, which of the various logos is your favorite?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I'm a really big outdoorsman. I own 3 or 4 kayaks myself, and we do a lot of, especially a few of the staff members, we do a lot of trips. So I really like the one where he's riding the kayak.
Nice.
It's just different, unique. You don't really see too many.
Yak and a kayak. That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can't go wrong.
Not much else to add on top of that.
I had a question. One of my favorite things in minor league baseball that they've been doing the last few years is the Hispanic heritage, like alternate identities that each team has. Mm-hmm. And I know you guys, you might still be using it. I mean, that's my question. The San Bernardo de Salem, that's Muggsy. Do you guys plan on having a new Hispanic culture identity with the RidgeYaks, or are you going to keep the old one?
So that's not something that's been finalized yet. We haven't been the San Berninos for at least since 2022, I believe was the last season we did. Whoops. I don't think we did it, or maybe 2023, one of those seasons. They all are starting to blend together. I've been in the industry long enough now. But one of those seasons is when was the last season that we did it. But nothing to say that we won't look back into that for sure.
Gotcha.
Well, that would be cool. Just like the actual the official rebrand itself is to the Salem RidgeYaks. Not the newest member of the Red Sox organization, newest affiliate, but the newest identity within the family of the Boston Red Sox. Riley, if people want to learn more about the RidgeYaks, if they're in the area listening to this and they want to get in on the action, where can they go and who can they reach out to?
Yeah, for sure. So they can reach out to our front office. The phone number is 540-389-3333 or info@ridgeyaks.com. That'll come through to us. So however they want to do it. We also are right there in Salem, Virginia, not too far off Interstate 81. So coming by, I think it's exit 140. We're about a mile and a half off that. Come see us.
The social handles as well?
Yeah, so that is a great question that I don't know off the top of my head.
That's fine. How many other Salem RidgeYaks accounts are on there? I mean, someone could be listening to this right now and set up a fake one and throw this whole rebrand, in a loop. But
I'll tell you what. At least the. Oh no, they did switch the name over. Yeah, so it's at RidgeYaks on X,
the everything app,
and on
Thanks, Jake.
Instagram. Instagram, you are RidgeYaks Baseball.
I don't even have Instagram, so I don't even know.
I don't even have TikTok, so Jake might have to pull up the TikTok if that is a thing.
You think you guys got TikTok?
Yes, we do. Yes. They forced me to be in a few of them, so.
No.
Let me see. The TikTok is.
This is a moment of truth. Suspenseful.
Right now, it's just Salem Red. Oh no, I think you switched it because we can't find that account at Salem Red Sox.
I think everything should be switched over.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's see. Salem.
It would be tough to rebrand to the RidgeYaks without having the official handles locked in or
right.
something. If you didn't have your primary option, okay, maybe switch to RidgeYaks _ or something like that if needed.
Let's see.
We're not ending this interview until we find that TikTok
I can't
account.
find
I
the
will have you know.
Jake's coming up empty.
I'm looking myself now. I do have TikTok. I don't have Instagram.
Oh,
So
okay.
we were-
No, I found it. It's just at Salem Ridge Yaks.
Yep.
Nailed it.
There you go.
Got
There you
it.
go. There you have it.
Magnificent.
Well, again, Riley
That's
Duffer
cool.
with the Salem RidgeYaks. We appreciate you coming on to Pawn on Lansdowne to talk about this fun rebrand. Just a couple of months away from the RidgeYaks making their official debut in April of 26. Should be a great time. Until then, Riley, we appreciate you taking the time, dude.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me on and willing to chat about it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Riley.
Thanks,
Take care.
Riley. Take it easy.